Hello, mic test. Okay, so hello. So this is going to be the demonstration for the subject requirement for my PF201 sa atong klase. Object-Oriented Programming, which is in this time we're going to try to implement the four CRUD implementation of add, update, delete view in database. First thing requirement is you're going to have to prepare Google Colab, SQLite as well. I'll be installing SQLite Studio in this case. Yet, uh, the NetBeans as well, the NetBeans 8.2, and yeah, the Google Colab. So today, as I'm waiting to install this here, we're going to have to demonstrate the process of a customer product and orders in a system. So we will try to implement the add, update, delete in two independent entities, the product and customer, as we will also be creating the third table for orders, which is going to be the dependent table, having two connection or having connection to our customer and product table. Okay, so first things first is, yeah, we're going to create our project first. So in this case, I'll be creating a new project, Java application. We will name this as demo application for my PF201 class. Okay, create main class. You need to check that as that will be the center point of which we're going to create our application. Okay, so we have the main class. Another requirements that another required jar that you have to download is the one in the Google Colab. You can copy this link, the SQLite jar file. Just open the link and make sure to download this jar file. You download this jar file. Now, as soon as the jar file is downloaded, okay, it's downloading. Download and verified file. It will go here in our file folders, as you see. That would be added here as a jar file sa atong NetBeans. Now, I will be creating in the NetBeans folder, I will be creating a folder or a package. Just make sure nga if mag-create mo package, that's under source package. I will name this package as jars as later on, dili na ako ibutang ang jar folder or katong jar nga akong gi-download. So to put the jar folder is, I need to like locate first. You need to locate sa nato if asa nakabutang ang kaning project. So in this case, you can go to properties, and as you see, it's currently residing in the NetBeans project folder. So I will go to this folder, and here is the folder of my project. Just this is very important nga katultol ta, or we know the location of our project, as yeah, this is also the place that we're going to put the database file. So now we have now the location, and inside the SRC you can see here the jars folder which I just created a while ago. So dirito ninyo ibutang, or this is the place that you'll have to cut this or copy the jar file, not the studio but the jar file of Java for SQLite version 3.30.1 na jar file. This is for me to connect to the database nga SQLite. So now here is nanadring jar, kay gi-paste naman ako siya dire. Now this is very important. This is really important. Just don't skip this part. Nga i-add na to, or we should be adding this jar file sa libraries. And to do so, you need to make sure na right click ang libraries, add jar, and locate the location of your project. So if you remember, I added this in the NetBeans folder in the documents, the demo app for PF201, the SRC folder, and the jars na doon ako gabutang. This is very important to note nga dapat magsugod ang file sa SRC folder, as this is a relative path. Para kung magbalin-balin kang PC sa imong device, mag-copy, mag-clone baka into another PC, dili maguba ang jar file. It will still have the relative path. Dili na ka magsige og tawag-tawag kung asa nakabutang ang SRC file. So you just have to open that, and as you see, it will be added to the libraries. So now naa na tay jar that allows us to connect sa ato ang SQLite. Okay, so I think that's good. Now I'll just minimize that some parts here, and then in the demo app na jar, as you see, nadya ang main. I'll just do clean up a bit with my main class. Retain lang nato ang main function. But in this part, I will be creating. So here's the code design. I will be creating a customer implementation, or in which diri na ko ibutang diri na to mahitabo ang customer transaction, adding, updating, deleting, and viewing all customers. And I will also be creating a table for products, because what will happen here is a customer can create an order of products that we have. So that's why these two are the independent tables nga na I add, update, delete, while orders is the last table that I'll be creating, or this is the implementation table, as dili man ta ka create og order if walay customer and walay product. So this is the implementation table that I will be creating on the last part. So first thing that I will do is adding customer. So now in the current package, the main package, I'm gonna add a class, and the name of this class is, I'll just name this as customer. This is customer, and just create that. Again, I'll do cleanup gihapon with the comments. I don't really like comments on program. And now is we're going to have to create a function. Since this is just a class, this is not a main method, we need to create a method here, because it is the only implementation that we can trigger to have execution. So it's very important ka mag-create ta diri og method. So I'll just name this as public class, let's say customer transaction, or C transaction. So that's something I'll add first, no? The customer transaction. Public class customer transaction. No, this is not class day. This is a method. So the data type day. So public void C transaction. Now, first thing is we're going to have to create the action, no? First, so select or welcome, or let's say dito na lang, customer panel. I'll just give that a title, customer panel. Then the first one here is add customer. View customer. Update customer record, and delete customer, and here is exit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Given that we're gonna have to create scanner class in this case, scanner sc is equals to new scanner system dot in, and make sure to import this, add import, so ma-add siya dire. Now we're going to have to like south, enter selection, let's say uh, int act is equals to sc dot next. Okay, so we're going to switch that act, switch act case 1. If you create case automatic, you have to break that. So in case 1, we're gonna have to write a code here, later a function which is to add a customer, view customer and delete a customer. Next is mag-andam na lang sita for case 2. So that's case 1. Here kay case 2. Case 2. Wait, I'll just do cleanup. Okay, so now we're going to create in add customer, but we cannot add customer without a database. So we're gonna have to create database first. So now I'll create a database. So you just have to remember if asa mo ga-create sa inyong project. In my case is demo app PF205. So this is the location. Now I'll just go to that location, exact location. No, I'll just go to this exact location and then select. So first enter and then again. So we're gonna have to create the file. So the name, let's say mic lang, mic, no? Or let's locate it na lang. So since I'm going to create a database, I'm gonna find the exact location kung asa nakasave akong project. So it's here. So this is the project. So mag-create ko sa mic.db. Just make sure to have extension mic.db and then mic and then okay. Task connection, that's okay. And then we have now our first database and we're gonna have to create our first table which is for customer. Now I'm gonna add here sa babaw our first column. Let's say the first table that I'll be creating is customer. No, I'll just name this as table tbl customer day. And then I'm gonna have to add the first column which is the customer ID. This is integer. This is primary key and this is auto incremented. Okay. Now I'm gonna need another one for C name, the customer name, or let's say F name. This is text. Let's say there's like 50 characters allowed. And then okay. I'm gonna add another one for CL name for the last name. This is text as well. This is 50 and okay. I will add contact lang. Yeah. C contact or let's say email. This is also text. Let's say this is 100 in size. Uh, the email and let's say status. C status. This is text and this is like 20. Then again, do not forget to save the table. After you create the table, do keep practicing on saving. Asa dapit ang saving ani? Which part is to save this one check? You have to check this one. This will appear as a query and then okay. Now it's saved since makita na siya diri as table customer. Now you have to verify lang if maubos yun nga file, i-double click lang ang mic.db and then it will still the same content. Since I have now the database and the name of the table is table customer, we can now continue with our task here. So since natay case 1 for adding customer, let me test this out. No, you cannot test this out kay ang main na to wala as you see build successful pa na siya when you run. Ako na siyang garan. Kaya nga nung wala yun i-run because wala pa isud ang ato ang main method. So sa main method, mag-create na sa ta diri og katong same content, same action. Let's say south enter welcome to the app demo. Create lang kog empty south here for a space, and another south is, let's say, number 1. You go to customer. Number 2 is you create product. Number 3 is create orders. Number 4 is reports or records. Let's say this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. And of course, the exit. Then we're gonna have to have another south, SOUT, enter action. Let's say enter action. We're gonna have to do the same gihapon for scanner. SC is equals to new scanner system that in import lang. And now if we have our scanner, we can now like int action is equals to new sc dot next int and switch. We're gonna have to switch action in this case, and case 1 break. Now we're gonna have to add the customer. Tawag ko na to ang customer nga class nga atong gihimo ganina. SCS is equals to new customer. Then CS dot, makita na nato if naka-public to, C transaction. So that when we run the program, when we select customer, it will go to the customer panel as you see. No? So ato sa customer panel ato na natong tiwason. I'm gonna add here 1 and then ako lang siyang butangan og line para dili kayo siya confusing sa atong user. Again, run na to. Let's say ato ta sa customer. I'll just put the output na lang diri tapan na to para ni karan. Say when I select customer, tara na ta sa customer panel. Okay, so yeah, that's it. We're just going to have to system that print in lang and then not ln. Okay, so na natay action. Humano lang sa nato ang customer. So since na naman tay customer table, we're going to have to take note. Do not also forget once na natay customer, we have to build up our config. So as for the config, mag-right click ra ka sa demo app nga package, mag-create ta og class, and we will name this class as you know, katong mga discussion nato in the past, is we will name this as config. And inside the config, ari nato i-add ang connection code, ang add update delete, and nga mga configuration file. Sir, asa na kuhaon? You just open the Google Colab link and you'd start with this one, the connection method for SQLite. Just have to copy that. You paste it inside the config as a first function or as a first method. And yeah, I think that's good enough. And if errors siya, just have to import this one sa connection for Java SQL. This also is Java SQL. And yeah, first action that you have to take note is when you copy the connection is this is take note. This is something that connects you to the database. So if sa'yo pa mo database nga gitawag, dili jud siya ma-connect. So we're going to call the mic.db in this case. So I'm gonna call mic.db. Now that's connection successful, and we're gonna have to add the other. Ato na lang humanon ang config. So sa config, I'm gonna have to add the add record method. Just take note, basta method maoy ibutang sa config. Okay? So now natay add record method. You paste it sunod sa connection DB code. Paste. If na error ha, i-import lang. Same with this one, prepared statement. So na natay duha ka method, the connection, the add record. Now after the add record, we're gonna have to add student. No, not the add student method. This is add student action is here. Sample ra ni siya. Do not copy this one. Since this is an action, this is not a method. Wala ni siya labot sa config. The view method is kani appeal ni. Walay labot ang add student action, but arita sa view method. Isumpay na to sunod sa add. If na error again, import lang. After the view is natay, ayon ang implementation, arita sa update method, kapiha ang update method. Paste that here. Wala ray error. And the last one is the delete method. Since this is now a total of 5 action, paste. So again, the first method, the connection method, the add record method, the update method, the view record, the update record, and the delete record is now in our config class. So we can now use that later when we implement the add customer. Now, since this is a function, we need to make sure nga naka-do-while sa dini. We're going to implement the loop in this case. So since gitawag naman ni siya sa main na to, mag-create na lang tag do sa dere. Let's just do. No, so my action first is I'll have to put one. Then here is the do, and here is the while. Then yeah, I'm gonna have to create a statement here first. Do you want to continue? That's yes or no. Okay, and then we're gonna have to create a variable response here. Response, no. String response, and response is equals to sc that next. Save, and then while response that equals ignore case is equals to user said yes, then ayaw lang sumpay. But if it sends no, then balik rasad siya dito sa gawas. Just make sure there is sa atong main. Again, this is the welcome to app demo. This is the main. Mag-add sa dadari og usa ka do while. In this case, is I'm gonna add here do, and here ubos mag-add ta diri og while terminator, and we're gonna have to ask the user, do you want to exit, no? Kato nga mga actions, or do you want to exit ba nga mga app? I'll just have to look back lang sa, I'll just open this one sa demo. No, ay dili day. Sige, dito na lang. I'll just have to create here, since exit is the case, last case, so I'm gonna create here case. So I'm gonna create here case 4 na lang daan, since case 4, no, that's number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is exit. So case 5, break, and then exit diri. But mag-ask ta sa diri, mag-create og variable nga boolean. Mag-add ta og variable boolean exit is equals to, let's keep that true for now. And then by the time nga mo exit siya, exit will become false. But before nato i-false ang exit, kay mag-asa ta sa user for confirmation, exiting. Exit selected. Type yes to continue. And then string rest is equals to sc.next, and if rest dot equals ignore case yes, exit becomes false, and that's the time nga magawas ang program. No, just making sure nga dili na ni siya labotel. Then yeah, let's try testing that out. Let's say 5 exit. No. So mupadayon na siya. But if you select 5 again exit, then yes, it's gonna end. Yeah, simple as that. Na tayo exit code, and then after the exit code is kumanon sa nato ang customer transaction, that is for processing of the customer, balik ta sa customer. Since man naman ta sa mga loop, mag-create ta og method for this is the open, this is the close. So I'm gonna create here a method, and I will name this method as since mag-add man ta case 1, so ang pangalan ni is add customer. Okay? So public void public void add customer. So since we're gonna have to add customer 1, so we're gonna select the user. So scanner system. So we're gonna add scanner class after that. And now let's continue with the actions that we're gonna have to add in adding the customer. So we're gonna have to look back with the required data sa atong database. So that's first name, last name, email, and status. So let's start with without enter. Let's start with since ID is auto incremented, we can now not include that as adding our data since it's an auto increment. It starts with 1, and as soon as the next data is added, it will go to 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's auto incremented. So let's start with the first name. First name, customer, first name, and we're gonna have to create a variable here for a string. F name is equals to sc that next, if I'm not wrong, and yeah, we're gonna have to like copy this na lang for the rest of the data ng atong buhatan. First name, status, and last name, customer, email, customer status, and then status. Okay, so since we're gonna have to add this one right here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 for the email and status. Now we're gonna have to call the config for adding a record sa database. In this case, kay kaning gauna, the add record. As you see, there are two parameters that is requiring the query and the values that we're about to send to the database. So first thing is we're gonna create here a variable for query. So query is equals to insert. If you forgot, do not. If you remember, discuss na ni nato the insert into nga query. Insert into the table name, our table name, which is the table customer. Insert into table customer, and you have to call the data one by one, not including the ID, but let's start with the first name, the last name, since ID is already again incremented. F name uh, C F name, C L name, C email, and C status with the values here. Take note that if you're going to send four data or four data to the four columns, you also have to send four parameterized something about parameterized value, which is also four in this manner. So four values given since this is four, and do not forget to call the config since naaman naka-reside sa config ang add record. So tawag na to si add record config, but mag-create sa tag object conf is equals to new config, and using now conf that add record, the first dato ihatag na argument is the query. And now for the values are those values that we sent as parameters. In this case, for kabok, fname, lname, email, and status. So fname, email, lname, email, and the status. So if you have no mistake siguro, or if you have like fix, if wala ray error inyong pagkasunod, then I think wala ra sad ni error. Just make sure nga matawag nato ang add customer sa case 1, which is in this case, since this is a public, no, or it is owned by the customer class, we still have to create an object for the customer. So we're gonna have to call the customer class cs is equals to new customer, and using cs that add customer, which is this one, tawagan na to siya for adding. So when you run that, try to see add customer. Oops, I don't like underman, so ako lang na siyang i-end sa kadiyot. Wait, I'll just end the rest of the running code. And then, just remove the ln lang para sa ako. I don't like the ln. Para ni Karan, if mag-add tag customer, let's say add Mike Bustamante, email is mike at ssc.edu ph, and then let's say single or single, yes. And if di mo ganahan sa connection successful nga line, you can just go to config and remove the connection successful nga line sa config. Save, and na successful man to siya, you just have to go to data to check if na-add ang data, which is naara sa dire. Okay, so yeah, na-add na siya. Again, if we're gonna add another, then go back to the NetBeans, arito sa config. If I say yes, it's gonna keep looping, mag-add tag balik, let's say John Doe, email is test at test that test, status is also single, tapos added successfully, do you want to continue? If I say no, mubalik ni siya sa main nato nga application. So tara, so you can like add lang sa siguro here. I'll just close this one. You can add sa customer since nag-add man taging ani. We can also add that in our demo app para like na siya separation ba, no? Kana. I think that's good enough for adding customer. Now let's work for the viewing. That is for the case 2 since case 2 is viewing. And for viewing, since na-create man tag method for adding, we can also create a method for public void view customer. And for viewing customer, I think this is like just function for view records. But before we do so, we have to make sure nga mag-create sa taog for string query. No, if dili ka ganahan na ay sample implementation mag-type, di ka na mag-type na ay sample implementation diri sa view implementation, which is tara. Ihon na nimo. And then I'll just, instead of view citizens, this is view customer. And take note, you're selecting from the table. So since the table na akong gigamit is table customer, tara, kani, mo sa na imong tawgon diri. So select all from citizen. So this is query. This is the headers. And these are the CLMS, the columns. Take note, when you display the customer, you have to call this one diri. But diri sa babaw doesn't matter. It's just in a matter of like title. This is appropriation. Let's say customer ID na lang. This is the F name, or let's say first name. There is last name, then the email and the status. Ang nagmatter is the columns. It should be exactly what is in your table. So in this case, the CID, the CF name, and the CL name, C email, and the C status. Just make sure nga tawagon gyapon na to si config conf is equals to new config para mawa ang error diri, and then diri ilisan nimo og query coming from the above headers and the columns. Para nika view customer na to, we can now call this right after using gihapon cs that view customer, and here is cs that view customer. That's it. So that when you run that, when you go to customer 2, it will view all the list of the customer. Now, if you want to extend the line, you can just also add here. Can you see? This is for display man. You can like add pende. Say pila yung ganahan. Kapiyon na ako. Kay murag. Asol na sad. Wait, I'll just remove this and then paste. Now, para ni karan, let's say customer, view customer, makover na siya tanan. No, so do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. So, mubalik ra sad siya sa pag-view. Mag-add tagbalik, let's add another sample, or let's say Alice go at test.com. Mered. No, so ma-add ra sad siya and then makita ra na natin. So, if I say no, balik siya sa welcome demo app. Na, balik sa on. Daw, balik ta sa customer, tiwason na to siya since wala pa siya nahuman. The case 3 is view update, and the last one is delete. So manaman ta sa exit, which is ang exit by the way kay it's just like case ano na, wait na natin na. Case 3 break. So for case 3, wala pa tayo kasud kay wala pa man taga create og update nya coding. So mag-create ta diri og private na by sample implement. Let's see the Google Colab na by sample implementation. Okay, this is not a sample ha. Maghimo jud ta diri og config, or I mean method, public void, private void, update customer. And yeah, when you have update customer is mangayo gihapon ta dito since we will use the update record here. Gamiton man nato siya, but we have to provide a query first. So we're gonna have to go back to customer and write a string query for update. So ang query ani is update the syntax, the table name, the TBL customer, set CF name, i-update na ako tanan, set CF name, first parameter, comma C L name equals to parameter, comma, C email is equals to parameter, comma, C status equals parameter. And do not forget the most important part is the where, which is calling the CID is also equals to comma. Then terminator. After the string here is we're going to call config happen. Conf is equals to new config, and we're gonna use conf dot update record. The first is query, and the values is the number of the parameters, the number of question mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, wala man tayo updated data. Mag south sa data dere. New customer first name. Mga tag new first name. Let's say string f name is equals to sc dot next. Yeah, and just copy the rest. Copy the scanner sa day. Ay, naaram day dire. Kapihan na lang ning sa add customer. We're gonna change this and we're just gonna add new, new since update man gud ni. So dapat na gyud ka ng murag appropriation for new something. Status. Okay. And the first values nga to ihatag is the first f name, l name, email, status, and mangayo pa sa di ay ta sa ID. South enter ID to update. And then sc dot next no int id, so sc dot next. Yeah, and we're gonna have to use the config. I know we're gonna have to call the last one here is the id. But how to make sure nga dili siya mo dayon, what if ni select siya ID niya, sir, wala day ni exist ang ID, then we're gonna have to add a validation dire sa tumoy. And to create a validation if ni-exist ba ang ID sa usa ka customer is we're gonna have to add one config. So I have one config code that I will give you, that I will put on the what do you call this? I will put on the config. So I'll just open this a bit. I'll just check out the file. This config right here. I know, wait, ako na lang i-con. Yeah. Ako i-paste. This is what we call a single get single value method. No? So I can add in the Google Colab here. Okay, I'll add here. Add the org section. So this is Torte Botang's kinalasan. So it's a new section here. We will name this as get single method. Get value method. No, and I'm gonna add a text here. I know, under this one. Yeah, since this is a section, I will add this as. Wait, I'll just delete this for a while and delete this section. And the name is kanto. the getValue method. Okay, and the getValue method is mag-add na diri og usa ka text, which is ang code is kani. I'll paste it here as a code. No, this is a formatted code. Paste. So this code will be something you have to copy. Ibutang na ninyo diri sa config. Put that in the config ha. Here, you go to config. I-add lang siya as new. Unsa di purpose ani? Set prepared statement. Wait, what's the? Okay, set prepared statement. This one, ako lang yung na lang sa ako ibutang dere sa copy the whole code. Ako sa ni-edit. Here. You put that here. And yeah, I think this is good. I just copy this as well. And here. You copy this whole code and you put that tangtangan lang ni balik. Butang lang ako diri tanan para wala error. Okay? Now na-add na. And we can use this get single value for the demo app no for the customer. Asa na ako gamiton dapit? I will use that to verify if the ID nga gitype sa user is ni exist sa table. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create a while code. So sa while code dere ato suwatan dere nga select mag-create a query first. No? I know. We're gonna call the config. Ako lang ning i-declare sa baba. Ibalhin lang ko ning config right after sa scanner. And I'm gonna use that conf that what? Get single value. Tawagon to nimo si get single value. And the query is select customer ID from TBL customer where the CID is equals to the parameter. And ang imong i-set sa parameter is the ID nga naa diri. And the second parameter, no, it's not inside, but there is ID. Wait, yeah, exactly, there is the ID. Is equals to 0. Karon if that's true, atong suwatan diri south selected ID doesn't exist. And we can just like south ask the user to select customer ID again. Dayon SC int I know ID that ID is equals to SC that next int. No. So that's something we will be adding to verify if na-exist ba siya. So let's see. Ato to sa customer. I know. Wala pa din nato siya natawag no. So I'll just call update lang sa. Kung pa nato natawag siya sa case. Tawagon sa nato siya sa case right here. Case 3. cs.update customer. Once natawag na, we can now update a customer. Let's see update ID. No, di sa taganahan nga type kay wata kay ba unsa nga mga ID sa customer ang ni-exist. So we still have to display the ID sa mga users. And to do so, you have to call the cs.viewCustomer before updating And after updating, so we see, let's select a customer. Let's select customer, update customer. So mugawas daan ang mga kwan. Let's say 5. Selected ID doesn't exist since 5 does not exist. But if we select one, first name is Mike lang gihapon, last name is Bustamante lang gihapon, but yung email is bago mike@test.com. O ang yang kuan is merit na update sad. So as you see, ma-update sad siya. So diha ang update na part. And lastly, for the delete, that's just easy na lang. So for the delete na to nga part is, again, you're gonna have to add another method here, public void delete customer. And in deleting customer, it's just like creating first a query. So scanner, so we're gonna ask the user, scanner sc is equals to new scanner. Kaya mag-input maguta later. System dot in. And after that, we're gonna ask the user enter ID to delete. Tapos int ID is equals to sc dot next int. And using that ID for deletion, we're gonna have to write a query here. String query is equals to delete. This is for customer. Delete customer table man to. Delete from TBL customer where CID is equals to the parameter terminator, and then conf is a config conf is equals to new config and conf dot delete record. You're gonna have to call the delete function for the delete method sa config. So query and the values is the ID raman. So tagon lang nato ang CID. But you can just copy this one sa update. Kapiha lang na. If the current ID ni exist ba? So select CID is equals to 0. Then given nga ang config, ibalhin lang sa nimo sa babaw, right under scanner. Muwa ra ning error dire. And then selected ID does not exist. Select customer ID again. So that's it. If naka-select na ka, then successfully deletion na siya. And then you're gonna have to create case 4. Which is in case 4 is what? Case 4, wait, break, that's break. And then tawgon na lang nimo ang kani, kapiha. But this time, imong tawgon instead of update, delete customer. Case 5, case 5, break. You're gonna have to, what? Break. Case 5, that's it. No? Let's try. Ato sa daw 2, 1, and then 5. Yes. Yes, I want to continue. And then let's delete a customer. Let's say nag-delete ta og 4 nga customer. Wala man ga exist. So mag-enter ta again og 3 which is ni-exist na ang 3. So ma-delete na ang customer 3. And I say no, mubalik siya sa loop and then exit. Are you sure? Yes, and then ma-end ang program. Okay, so that's for the customer nga panel. So sa next video I will be demonstrating the product and the orders as well. Again, thank you and see you on the next video.